Welcome back to Big Book Basic Training. Today we're going to break down the doctor's opinion. The purpose of this chapter is to answer questions like, what exactly is a physical allergy to alcohol? What triggers this physical allergy in an alcoholic? How does someone know whether or not they have this allergy, or how does one diagnose oneself? What is altruism, and why must alcoholics learn to be altruistic if they hope to maintain long-term sobriety? And of course, who was the doctor in the doctor's opinion, and why was his medical opinion on alcoholism so important to recovering alcoholics? The doctor referred to in the doctor's opinion is William D. Silkworth, MD. As a young intern at Bellevue Hospital in the year 1900, Dr. Silkworth found he was especially drawn to alcoholics and that alcoholics were drawn to him. Over the following decades, his personal modesty, disarming gentleness, and his profound understanding of the disease helped him secure the trust of his alcoholic patients, a vital component needed when working with alcoholics. In the early 1930s, his decades of tireless hard work finally paved the way for a new era that fused medical and spiritual healing. While working with a patient named Bill Wilson at Towns Hospital in New York City, they became aware of and began to apply a practical, workable solution to alcoholism. Centuries of a world without an answer to alcoholism ended when the blueprint for a spiritual experience or spiritual awakening was discovered and applied simultaneously in New York City and Akron, Ohio. By the time Dr. Silkworth wrote his 2 letters included in the doctor's opinion, he had 38 years' experience working with alcoholics, and by this time he had worked with over 40,000 alcoholics. Let's look at the title of the chapter, The Doctor's Opinion. The dictionary definition for a medical opinion is a judgment based on special knowledge and given by an expert, a medical opinion. So, when Dr. Silkworth wrote the 2 letters for this chapter, he was providing his professional medical opinion. His medical opinion was not the same as my opinion or your opinion on alcoholism. It was the opinion of a medical doctor, a doctor with at that time 38 years experience working with alcoholics. Before we get started, it is important to note the first word, we. We is referring to the first 100 people to get sober in AA. These first 100 sober alcoholics collectively wrote the AA Big Book in 1939. At that time, roughly 50 of the original members were living in New York City and 50 were living in Akron, Ohio. It was agreed by this group of 100 that Bill Wilson, who was living in New York City at the time, would write rough drafts of the first 11 chapters of the Big Book, 1 chapter at a time. And when Bill was done writing each chapter, the group in New York would gather, read the chapter sentence by sentence, editing it as they went along. When the group in New York was done editing each chapter in New York, they would then mail their edited version to the group in Akron, so the group in Akron could gather and edit the chapter the exact same way the group in New York edited it, 1 sentence or even 1 word at a time. Dr. Bob, the first person Bill worked with, lived in Akron, Ohio, so Bob was there to facilitate the editing process in Akron, Ohio. They all agreed, when each edited chapter came back from Akron, that the then fully edited version would be the completed chapter. So whenever you see the word we used in the first 164 pages of the Big Book, remember the authors are referring to themselves, the first 100 members of AA who were also the authors of the Big Book.